Welcome to Amy Kardashian and the Expert Show, where the experts share their knowledge, wisdom, and powerful insights to help you transform your business and personal life. This show it's about business, self-development, health and beauty, and everything that helps you see your life in a whole different perspective. I am your host, Amy Kardashian, not Kardashian. I have a great guest with me today. Her name is Joy K. Katzenberger, and we are going to talk about how to live with invisible disability. And this subject is very close to my heart because so many of us have some type of not disability necessary, but weaknesses maybe, and we don't really know how to express ourselves. And this show is gonna help you start to see your life in really different perspective. Well, welcome to the show. It's nice to have you here with us.
Well, thank you, Amy. I'm very good to be here this evening. My name is Joyce Walters. As you said, I publish under the name of Joyce Gatchenberger, and I'm very excited to talk about the subject, living with invisible disabilities. As you said earlier, I am an author, but I am also a registered nurse. I have been a registered nurse for 35 years.
Amazing.
So this is a subject that is very deep and close to my heart. And as you said, I have published 2 books. The first one I published is called Lines of Listening. It is a nonfiction. It is an expose, and it is written about my life and my family's life and how they struggled with physical abuse and marital betrayal.
Wow.
It
okay,
also
so that's
traces,
where you get your insights.
Yes, it also traces generational abuse and gives you an insight into that.
Wow.
The second book that I published, which I'll talk about in just a bit, is Generations Intertwine, which is a fiction book but a continuation of the story. It talks about how the next generation deal with the struggle and how it affects them 3 generations later.
What inspired you to really start going from being a registered nurse into becoming an author? What inspired you? What really pushed you to do this?
Well, as I worked through the profession of nursing and as I dealt with my own issue of invisible disabilities, I looked closely at the definition of disability. And the American Disability Act gives you a wide definition of activities that limit your daily life. However, that assumes that somebody that has a disability has lost their arm, has lost their leg, maybe has lost their sight. And when you look at them, you know that they are disabled. However, an invisible disability also falls under that same definition. Someone who may be dealing with alcoholism, somebody who may be dealing with abuse, somebody who may be dealing with some kind of psychological trauma, somebody who may be dealing with cancer treatments. Those are all disabilities and they have major limitations in their life. Those are also things that fall under that definition.
Of disability?
Yes, of disability.
But we don't see it, so what is it that your message, what you want to let us know, how to deal with this? And you said you had some disability or what you were dealing with something, right? And
yes.
That's what inspired you to go
yes.
out and inspire other people to say, well, I'm dealing with this silently.
Yes.
Do you talk about that? Or
I talk extensively in the book. First of all, I talk about the family that I came from, which was very dysfunctional. And my personal story is that when I went to write the book, I talked to my siblings and I let them know that I was going to write the book. And as you know, or anyone that has dealt with any of this, can be a very taboo subject. Yeah. It's something you do not talk about outside of the family. It could be that you have a mental disability, you have a mental disease, you have alcoholism, you have sexual abuse. All of those things are taboo. I decided that before I published the book, I would talk to my siblings and let them know I was going to talk about it. They all were aware of it. I published the book, they read the book, and they now have since disowned me.
Because you
Because
told
I published the
yeah.
book.
Well, I mean, this is something you felt in your heart, and that's what I did in my book. I had to really share the story, but most of my family, they supported me. That's probably the difference. Nobody disowned me about that. Mm-hmm. But you did whatever you thought is the right thing to do because you want to help other people and
Yes.
tell them, you know, you're not alone when you're going through something like this. And they might just pick up something and give them hope that their life is not just secret, you know, to
Yes.
start seeing that other people went through some challenges as
Yes.
well.
And that is one of the major focuses of the book, is that to let people know that, first of all, it happens in life. Mm-hmm. Simply because you can't see it doesn't mean you're not dealing with it. Second of all, it softens the blow when you're trying to figure out how to deal with it. And as you know, by writing and looking at other books, you have to figure out, why should I do this? Why should I go and examine my life and try to make it better? And you always have to figure out, where is your inner strength? Because you know you can do this. You know you figured out your why, so how do you go about and do it? And that's what I address in my book. First of all, you're not alone. You have strength. You do have a why. So how do you figure out and go forth and do it?
Wow, that's pretty powerful. And then from there, you were inspired to continue writing.
Yes, I was, simply because of the reception that I got mm-hmm. from the first book, which I did not expect. And I know that to be a healthy, full person, you have to address whatever it is that you're dealing with, whether it's a broken arm, or if it's a mental disease, or it's a trauma, or it's a secret that has been held for many years. My nursing background has taught me that. So when you look at, how do I deal with this, you know that it's going to affect the next generation and the next generation. So that's what inspired the next book. So if you want to break the cycle of violence, if you want to break the cycle of secrecy, you have to address the issue.
And when we come back, we are going to talk about that. So we'll be back in a few minutes.
Thank you for calling Denim Revival.
Hate to say goodbye to your favorite jeans? Well, now you don't have to, because Denim Revival is here for you. Mail us your jeans and our professionals will fix it right up. We offer you all kinds of alteration services, including invisible repairs, let-outs, taperings, and original hemming, or even have your own custom-made jeans. Quoted the best denim repair shop by GQ, Vogue Magazine, and LA Times. Denim Revival, your search for alteration and repair ends here. And to you it ain't pretty little thing, howdy your baby.
Welcome back, and we are talking about a great subject today. It's very close to my heart. How to live with invisible disability. And we're going in the conversation. You told me how your family went through disown you because you talked about what you were going through in your life as a
Yes.
child, right?
Yes. Yes.
And you were talking about you finding your why and how you go about it now.
Yes.
How would you go
Yes.
about your invisible disability?
Well, first of all, is to recognize that you want to address your disability, even though it is, as they say, an invisible disability. Most people will, if they have an arm that hurts or a leg that hurts and it's causing pain, they go to the doctor. With an invisible disability, you can hide that from the public. Nobody's going to open your brain up and say, oh, look, she is hurting inside, or her heart is broken. Nobody's going to see that. So people tend to not look. You have to have some inner strength to uncover it, and you have to make a personal choice to uncover that invisible disability. That's the very first step.
Okay, that's a good step.
Yes.
But you have to know how to uncover it, where to uncover
Yes.
it, with who, and to be safe.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That is
Because
exactly
you could be
right.
unfolded to someone who could criticize you, or they don't
Yes.
want to help you. So you need to find
Yes.
the right place to really open up.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
And that is always a risk, and you have to understand that. So when you open up to someone, you've decided to expose it, you've decided to move on and get better, like anyone would if you're addressing it. It has to be a safe environment, and that is a risk. It's always a risk. So a safe person is someone that you know you can trust. It might not be your mother or your father. It might not be your teacher, or it might not be a coworker, but it needs to be somebody that you can trust.
Well,
Might be a therapist.
Yeah, so sometimes you might trust a mother or a father, but they don't want to accept it.
That's exactly right.
And that could be a problem when they don't want to accept their child have a problem, right?
That's exactly right.
Because we see our children like perfect. I know my daughter is perfect, so.
That's exactly
okay,
right.
so you have to make a choice who you're choosing, who you're talking to, who you're opening up to.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And you also have to know, and sometimes you're in a cloud of wonder or a cloud of not knowing, but you have to understand that on the other side of addressing this issue, life is better. You just have to understand that you have to go through, you can't go under, you can't go around, you have to go through it to make it better for yourself. That is a knowing that you have to know. And you do it in steps. You don't do it all at once. You go a little bit and a little bit. It's a struggle like any other struggle, as though you're going to carry a heavy load up a hill. It just happens to be a psychological or a mental or a struggle inside of your brain that you are willing to take on. But you also have to understand that it is worth it. So you're trusting someone, you're approaching the issue, you're taking small steps, and you know that it's going to be worth it because you want a better life on the other side. It's just like any other obvious disability. When you get to the other side, you feel better, you function better, your life is richer, and you've made a better path for yourself.
It kind of gives you freedom.
Yes, it does.
Doesn't it?
Yes,
It's
it
no
does.
more, you're not hiding anymore. You're just free. When I had a business, for example, because I deal with disability and hidden disability, I had a business and nobody knew I didn't know how to read and write, and I had dyslexia. And all my customers, everybody, they thought, oh, I'm so educated, and like, okay, but I kept it to myself. I struggle when I look at words. I have my freedom now. Everybody knows that I deal with that. So what? I still could be a businesswoman. I still could be who I want to be, because I actually, I get more opportunities because now I'm giving myself permission to be.
That's exactly
And not
right.
more, I'm not hiding anymore. So it is very important. It gives you that freedom.
Yes, it does.
I'm sure it did that. The book did that to you.
Yes.
It gave you that freedom.
Especially in the second book, as I was writing it, and as I was going through my own struggle, I realized that you find out things in your life you didn't know about yourself. You find your inner strength, and you find yourself saying to yourself, I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I had that much energy. You find things you didn't know about yourself that were inside that make it better for you, because now you're stronger and you're better and you're focused.
Well, I feel so blessed to be sitting next to you, because just 35 years of being RN and author of 2 and sharing all this insight, it's really inspiring to have someone like you coming out and telling your story and sharing your insights. Well, I'm sure you have a lot to share with everyone, and I would like them to have your website. If you like to look there and give them your website, please.
Yes, I have a website and a blog. It's called linesoflistening.com, and it's dedicated to health and wellness.
Well, thank you so much again for being here, and I really look forward to learning more from you. So I appreciate your time, and we will be right back.